12, 2023. This is our 9 a.m. work session. This is a special meeting, so things are going to be a little different. Our county attorney says we cannot do public comments and we cannot do other business, so that's part of the agenda. So I would like to stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Andrew, is Squire Sebastian on by any chance?
She just joined us.
Okay, perfect. I wanted to make sure. Good morning. How are you doing, Ms. Rome?
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'm Julia Rome, and I'm a member of the Baha'i Faith, and I will say a prayer from the Baha'i Scriptures. O thou compassionate Lord, thou who art generous and able, we are servants of thine, sheltered beneath thy providence. Cast thy glance of favor upon us. Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Render our souls joyous and happy through thy glad tidings, O Lord. Point out to us the pathway of thy kingdom and resuscitate all of us through the breaths of the Holy Spirit. Bestow upon us life everlasting and confer upon us never-ending honor. Unify mankind and illumine the world of humanity. May we all follow thy pathway, long for thy good pleasure, and seek the mysteries of thy kingdom. O God, unite us and connect our hearts. Verily, thou art the giver. Thou art the kind one, and thou art the Almighty.
Thank you very much. All righty, now I believe Mr. Bill Marshall is here to...
Good morning,
Good
Judge.
morning.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greetings to all the commissioners. My name is Bill Marshall. I am the chairman of Frankfurt Sister Cities. In case you didn't know, Frankfurt does have a sister city with a town in Japan called Shimamoto-cho. And we had a pretty robust exchange back and forth pre-COVID. But this year, now that the restrictions have finally, the last kind of vestiges have been lifted, they are ready to really start back. And so we have a visitor coming. They told me a little bit earlier this summer they were on the way. Last week I got exact dates. They will be, there's one person. His name is Takayuki Yokoyama. So he will be here next month, October 10th to the 19th. Now, we have, when we do the Sister City exchanges, we usually do homestay, and Judge Mueller, you and your great family were very kind last time to be one of those host families. The invitation is certainly open to you again. We are looking for folks. We had thought it was going to be October or December, but they chose October, and actually that worked out pretty good because I saw there's International Day on October 14th, I believe.
Correct.
So he will be here for that. So
Okay.
That's good timing. So I had met with the Franklin County, the Frankfurt City Commission as well. Sorry, I called you guys commissioners, magistrates. I keep them all straight. And so it is a partnership between two cities and two mayors, but in our case, we made it very clear from the beginning, we are Frankfurt and Franklin County, both school systems, that's very important that they are both involved, and those sorts of things. So I wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of that, and I'll share some more stuff with, I believe her name's Kim, and to send around to you guys, and as more details become available. But we'll probably try and hit different events. We could hold maybe a reception for him We've done that before, so I just wanted to kind of, as soon as I knew, let you guys know, and I know you guys got a busy morning, it looks like, so I won't keep you. Are there any questions or anything? And I'll leave my contact info too, so you can feel free to reach out to me, but anybody?
So is the gentleman coming, is he actually a mayor in his community?
No, it's not the mayor. It's, they went through what they called a selection process to get a special envoy to kind of restart the relationship. So he's a teacher. And he's coming here. And like I said, he'll be here for, about 9 or 10 days. And then they also have invited us to reciprocate. And I know Mayor Wilkerson had expressed some interest in going there. That's certainly open to anybody in Franklin County, because we're really more county-wide than limited to city. So, kind of another thing to kind of keep in mind maybe for next year. So I've been there a couple times. It's beautiful. The people are great. You'll love it. It's the same kind of small town feel as Frankfort. So it's really an amazing opportunity if you're so inclined.
All right, that sounds great. Does anybody have any questions?
Bill, talk to us about the goal of the Sister City program.
Sure. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. And Eric, I was very kind with the Oddfellows Market stuff we used to do. We used to have a booth and things. And that makes me think of, during that International Day, we've still got stuff left over that we used to do at the street fairs and stuff. So we can certainly have, a booth or display available
That'd be great.
there. And but so what we've done in the past is we've had some student exchange. Probably most notably, back in 2018 we took 16 kids who had just finished Second Street School. Superintendent Barber, when he was there, we worked together and we were able to get a grant to take some kids and a few members of some adults. And we went over there for a couple of weeks. And then when we came back, that's when we brought the two kids from Shimamoto, and they were here for a while. And then they went back following that. We initially had 3 folks, kind of members of their municipal leadership, come initially in 2016. And they were here for about a week. The opportunities are, opening up more student exchange, teacher exchange. Lexington Sister Cities has a really strong program where they have kids go back and forth, but they're kind of short-term trips. We had, pre-COVID, we had been looking at longer-term, like semester-long trips, because that's kind of I think a better learning. Of course, the kids would have to be of age and, old enough and that sort of thing, but it's a great country. It's safe. Everybody's nice and stuff. So that's a possibility. Also, of course, everybody knows there's a few Japanese companies here. Topi was here before Toyota even, and kind of helped lead the way. There was, I can't remember what his name was. He's the fellow who, the state of Kentucky has 2 representatives for international stuff. One's a Europe representative, one's an Asia representative. And Mike Takahashi-san is our state rep was for Asia, and he's based in Tokyo. So he helped bring Topi here to Frankfurt way back when. And so he's got a little bit of a local connection. So all of this exchange and stuff, and I see Jack over there. Hey, Jack, how's it going? Can't wait till election time. And so there are economic development opportunities as this relationship starts to come back together and get much stronger. And not just from like Shimamoto itself, but that's in Osaka Prefecture. Osaka is kind of the really big city on the west side of the main island. Tokyo is the big city on the east side. So there's so many companies there, and I think there's working with maybe even the state and stuff, since we are fortunate to be the capital city, to maybe look at being, a little more aggressive at courting some companies to come to Frankfort and Franklin County. Because, we certainly could, we would love to have more economic development, I'm sure. And they're great partners to work with. It's a very long-lasting relationship. So I think that that is a big potential right there. So, and then, if you think of anything that we would like to do, we're certainly open to any, suggestions or anything like that. Eric, did you have anything that you had thought of that might be potential for a future expansion of relationship maybe, or? No? Yeah, cherry trees. Yeah. We could. We can ask him about that when he's here, and we could certainly do something like that. That's they're so beautiful when they're in bloom, and that's quintessential Japan, the sakura. Yes.
Any other questions for Mr. Marshall? Well, we appreciate you coming in today, and we'll talk in the near future about when the gentleman comes in on the 10th, and we look forward to, if you could get with Mitzi if you want to do a table or something at the International Day.
Okay.
She'd be a good contact here in the office.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, perfect.
Okay,
Alrighty.
thank you, Judge.
Take you very much.
Thank you
Appreciate
all.
it.
Appreciate you. Thank you for your service.
Alrighty, now we have Mr. Tom Hall, who's going to talk from the District 5, I believe. Looks like some other guys are wanting to get up there with you, huh?
Yeah, maybe so. My name is Tom Hall. I'm with District 5. Good morning, Judge Wheeler and members of the court. The purpose of our visit today is to get concurrence from the county on our rural secondary paving program. Rural secondary roads are those farm-to-market roads that are maintained by the state. They're not our bigger roads like interstates and parkways, but rather, like I said, farm-to-market type roads. And part of our process, and when we do a paving program each year and budget out what we're going to resurface and fix in that road system, we get concurrence from you guys because it makes sense. It makes sense because these are the roads that get people from local areas to the bigger city centers and bigger roads. So, but before I start, I would introduce everybody. We got Joe Barnett here. He's our section engineer in Franklin County, responsible for maintenance and construction activities. Scott Tipton, he's our branch manager over Franklin County and then surrounding rural county. And then we have Larry Cheney over there. He works with me in District 5 planning. That's our group. Usually when I talk about rural secondary, I like to talk about what we proposed to do last year and how well we did. And so last year's program, we intended to resurface 3 roads. It was Kentucky 1707, Camp Pleasant Road, and we resurfaced 2.7 miles of that road. Kentucky 1681, Duncan Millville Road, just a short 0.3 of a mile on that road. And another road, Kentucky 1570, St. John's Road, 1.9 miles of that road. And we put those together as one contract and awarded those to a contractor last fall, and those were all complete by the completion date of June 30th of this summer. So those are all done. What we said we were going to do, we got done. So that kind of leads me to this year's program. One thing I would mention about that program is that, our cost estimates were like something about $300,000 to do that work last year. And when we awarded it, the contract, it ended up being $400,000, which is, a lot more than we expected, but we've been seeing a lot of road construction costs kind of go through the roof. So I think everybody's heard that. So it plays into the budget of this year. So I just thought I'd mention that. So I'm going to walk through this long sheet, which is part of which is basically the program we're asking you guys to approve. And what I basically start talking about is the prior year balance. How much money did we have coming into the program? And we had a negative $95,000, which roughly a negative $100,000, which was money we had to spend last year. But anyhow, we bring that together with our initial allotment, our annual allotment, which is $854,664. And so we end up having $759,662 available to run our rural secondary program. And so there's a line items we take off the top before we can actually pave roads, and I want to quickly walk through those. The first thing is we do routine and maintenance like patching potholes, snow and ice, the basic maintenance activities. We have to take that off the top of the budget, and we have 97 miles of rural secondary roads in Franklin County. So the cost to maintain those roads is $384,600. So if we subtract that amount from our budget, $759,662, we end up carrying forward $375,062. And so the next thing we take off the budget is flex funds. Now, flex funds is a program that's been around for about 10 years, and flex dollars are rural secondary dollars that we can allow counties to use for county road resurfacing projects. And that's a kind of a nice program that the counties take advantage of. It's our understanding that this year the county's going to use that money to resurface county roads. And you guys will work through the our Office of Rural and Municipal Aid to pick the roads and get a contract for that. But the amount is $128,200. So we take that off of our budget, and then we end up having money left is $246,862. The next expense we take off is the county judge executive expense, which used to be $3,875, and that was an expense that we would give to the county judge to help administer the program, coordinate, make sure we're paving the right roads. The legislature, through House Bill 241 last session, decided that they weren't going to continue that practice. So we don't take that off the top. So that leaves us $246,862 to do resurfacing work, and it's our intention this year to continue resurfacing work on Kentucky 1570, which is St. John's Road. You might remember last year we did a portion of that. We want to try and finish that out. And our cost estimate to do that would be $240,637, and that just leaves us a balance of $6,225 to carry forward to next year. So basically what we're looking for is, if you guys would agree, we would look for concurrence and finish resurfacing St. John's Road. And the way we get concurrence from the court is either through a resolution or through approved fiscal court minutes. And so that's basically my presentation. If you all have any questions, I'd be happy to take those.
All right, thank you very much. What questions does the court have, Squire? Tracy, don't forget to turn your mic on, please. Thank you.
My question involves past requests and so forth. I'd just like to see where we're at on those. Is that
Okay.
appropriate for him?
Yeah.
Over the years, I've inquired about Sullivan Lane, Peaks Mill Road, Indian Gap. Obviously, Camp Pleasant's getting fixed. If something's not done, we're going to lose one or two of them into the creek. Can you tell us where we are in regards to those state roads?
I'll probably be leaning on our maintenance and construction folks.
Okay.
If
They are, yes, sir.
Slide or shoulder issues.
We've got issues of all kinds. They're not being ditched. Sullivan Lane, right before you get to the bridge, is about ready to fall in. You go Peaks Mill Road where the canoe access point is falling in. There's numerous issues. So, and I know there's been letters written to the cabinet because the past judge and the current administration has written them. Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions? Squire Wisman.
Yeah, Larry, thank you for coming and joining us. First, I have to give accolades for St. John. You know, that road in some ways was nearly gravel in some places until the paving happened, and my residents in the district are extremely happy with that, and I think continuation of that project is absolutely necessary. I have to ask about some other roads, of course. We have numerous issues throughout this county. As you said, there's 97 miles of rural secondary roads, and last year we barely got 5 paved, 5 miles. And this year, for the rest of St. John, I believe that's only about 2 more miles. Can you give us some recommendations on maybe what we can help with in lobbying the DOT or something otherwise to see more done? You know, 421, one of my major arteries through my district, is quite literally falling into the creek and shoulders failing and things in multiple places. I have a Bridgeport-Benson Road. I have a problem with the road going into the creek where the parents are calling me afraid that their school bus is going to, go over the road at some point. Highway 12 from one end to the other is quite literally falling apart. Our entire county needs some great investment, and I know the legislature sets budgets that we're quite limited to. And, effectively we're going into a new budget year October 1st, correct? And we'll have $6,275, did you say, left?
Right.
For repairs for the entire year. That doesn't leave us a whole lot. I'm just wondering if you can sort of editorialize a little bit on what we can start thinking about some of those other road problems.
Well, some of the road, that's a big list, and we have several different road systems. We have our state primary road system and state secondary road system, and then we have our rural secondary road system, which is these smaller roads that are sort of the subject of our paving program today. But like you said, budgets are limited in each of those road systems, and we're just the engineering folks, and we get a budget every year, and we listen to the county, and we also run the routes, and also have pavement teams that go out and run routes, and we have a pretty strong sense of what the worst roads are. But like you said, there's just never enough money to go around. I think probably the best approach is to let our folks like Joe and Scott know exactly where your concerns are and document that. But our budgets are limited, so we're going to look at each county and we're going to say this is the worst road, and it's usually based on some pretty solid engineering data. But again, there's not enough money. When it comes to the rural secondary program, those smaller roads, it is possible that rather than the county use the flex dollars for county roads, the county has the opportunity to say use those on state roads, and then we would have maybe 128,000 more to do a little more work. I don't have good best answers, but I would say our systems we have limited budgets, and we try as best we can using engineering judgment, and then also local input as to what we improve. But like I say, the budgets are limited, and I'm not exactly sure how we get past that.
Sorry to put you in the hot seat. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's okay.
We have folks that will be watching, of course, and we get calls every day, all of us, right, about problems with primarily the state highways, and we're all very cognizant of budget shortfalls to be able to do what we'd all would hope to see done. So again, sorry to put you in the hot spot, but while we had you.
We always look for other avenues, try to find the money that costs $60,000 to $70,000 to pay a mile. So, it doesn't, the money doesn't real far.
Yeah, I'm getting to you, Sherry. He's finishing. Yep.
I will say,
She can't hear him.
Division 421.
Scott, would you care to step up to the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Say, the cost is about $60,000 to $70,000 a mile for a 2-lane road. It's like a 20-foot line, so you can go further forward. You mentioned 421, we do have a job getting ready to start up this winter to address some of the drop-off issues on there. So hopefully that'll take care of one of your jobs. Concerns.
Mr. Tippett, so if you haven't seen the letter that I sent, would it help if we could send you something directly as far as to maybe get with
Yeah, that's
maintenance and stuff?
Yeah, you can send, email it to me,
Okay.
scott.tipton@ky.gov.
Okay, I'll get that from you, but yeah, we'll, yeah. Perfect, thank you. Squire, Squire Sebastian was waiting, and then we'll do Squire Tanner, thank you. Go. Squire Sebastian?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Tipton, I wanted to have the opportunity maybe after this meeting to talk to you about Big Eddie Road. I need to talk with you just a little bit about some information that I received last night about 9 o'clock.
I checked on Big Eddie, this road, before coming here. We do have a contract to pay for the 0 to the 1.72. The remaining portion of Big Eddie is scheduled for next year to finish out the rest of it. It's a top 10 in our district paving for next year, so it should go. It should be, the rest of it should be completed next year.
Okay, I would like to talk to you about the split for the paving. So when we get an opportunity after this meeting, I'd like to do so. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's what we already have scheduled now without a executive order, which means it probably wouldn't get done this year, so I'd probably much rather keep going where we're going now and then get the rest of it next year.
All right, I look forward to talking to you. Thank you.
Squire Tanner?
I want to follow up on Scotty's issues out there on Indian Gap. I don't have any roads. Fortunately, my district is in pretty good shape. I think about the only part of a market road I got is Evergreen Road. But the question what I have is, there's $384,000 on your maintenance, regular maintenance of the 97 roads. Is that number is that correct, more or less?
Yes, $384,600.
Okay, can some of that money be used on these washout areas like it's on Indian Gap, it's those problems there, or Peaks Mill? Or is that limited that you can't do that? You're just pushing snow with that money or what?
Well, I think that Scott could probably speak to that a little better than me, but I mean, there's a certain, limitations to what our maintenance guys can do, and Scott could probably.
That 384, that encompasses all of our work on those roads, because we'll charge out, once we do a job on a certain road, we charge out, and that road is charged that money. So so if we worked on Indian Gap, if it's a little secondary, it would come out of that 384.
It could come out of that though,
Yes.
is that correct?
And then, but that also encompasses any type of potholing, snow and ice. It's pretty much for all of our work on these roads. And this past year, I looked at our actual spending on these rural secondary roads for all 5 of my counties, and I made some adjustments to try to get us a little bit more paving money, which I did adjust it a little bit to get us a little bit more on our paving money. But that's pretty much what we spend on our rural secondary roads on an average over the last pretty much 5 years.
So that $384,600 is based on history?
So I guess to piggyback on him though, so let's say, is there money left over, towards the end of the year? Is that put towards paving, or what happens, if that, let's say it's a mild year, they didn't get to everything and they didn't use the 384,600, is there?
It comes out of our, I think it come out of our total FEO1 budget, our total maintenance budget, and it would just roll over, but generally we use the majority of it every year. But it just goes into our general overall district maintenance budget.
Okay, thank you. Squire Tracy?
Outside of the resident that lives in Peaks Mill, can you tell me when the last time that Peaks Mill, Sullivan Lane, Rocky Branch was ditched, roadside ditching?
I'll talk to my foreman about it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Squire Wisman?
Yeah, Mr. Tipton, maybe you were the appropriate one to ask, but I'm wondering if we could get communicated to the court road priority, road listing, is that part of some of the things you mentioned? Are those within the state road plan, or is that generally an auxiliary sort of within District 5?
You talking about like other, like projects or just everyday?
Priority of the roads and their condition assessments, those kinds of things.
Not at this time, I don't have any of that information with me. But I mean, generally when we get complaints, we try to jump on those as soon as possible, but, you know. I was talking to my maintenance guys about what their priorities are working on right now. I know they were doing a bunch of ditching and some base failures on US 60 here recently, and, but I have to get with them. They're more of a, they do more of the day-to-day activities, and I let them kind of run the maintenance stuff as they see fit, on micromanaging or anything like that. So I can just give them, let them see what they're going to be working on. If y'all have an issue, just let me know, and we can make it a priority. No problem.
I appreciate that, but I was wondering more about if we had a sort of a grading of all of our roads. You know, the request is to state whether we support a paving of the rest of St. John's, but without a condition assessment or year paving, that kind of schedule.
If it's on a resurfacing, and we know it's resurfacing, I do like to make sure that they go through that road and get the road mowing done, get their ditching and stuff done. That way we don't have to come back to it. I do make that a priority when we know we have a resurfacing job coming, for them to go through there and getting any pipe that needs to be replaced, or any shoulder failures or anything like that, just get the road ready for paving. So, I do like to have them make that a priority when we know a road is getting paved.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for these gentlemen? We appreciate y'all coming in today, and then we'll maybe follow up with another letter as far as some of the magistrate's concerns.
We do need to reach out to you. We do have a new county foreman. I was going to bring him by.
Okay.
To meet you all and stuff like
Okay.
that. So,
That sounds good. All right, we thank you. Tom, thank you very much. Alrighty, on to the judge's report now. I believe Andrew has some pictures. On Saturday, August 26th, KSU hosted a Healthy KSU. It's a 3K run walk and a health fair, trying to bring awareness to, things that African Americans are dealing with the health problems. Just a couple pictures there. And then I also attended the First Corinthian Baptist Church 147th birthday celebration on the 27th from Reverend Whitlock. It was a really nice celebration. Thought Catholics went long, but it was 2.5 hours, but they really they had fun, so it was a great celebration. We had a solid waste committee meeting on Monday, August 28th to introduce our new solid waste coordinator and discuss some education initiatives that we're going to be working on. We actually had a group that we went out to the compost pad. There we are there, and Will's kind of showing, I believe Tammy, our new grant writer, and Allie, our new solid waste, went out there and kind of went over the program and how it's used. Very, very good information there. Administrative Services Committee met on September 5th. We continue working, updating, amending, and streamlining our admin code. That's an on-working thing. Also want to remind everybody that our International Festival will be held on Lakeview Park on the 14th from 4 to 8. So visit our website if you're interested in having the table for the event or if you'd like to perform. The registration and links are on our website, franklincounty.ky.gov. Click International Festival log. We also have our trunk or treat movie night at Lakeview Park on October 1 from 5 to 7. The movie starting around 7:30, and ice cream will be provided by the Sheriff's Department. We also have a golf in for literacy that I'm going to let Squire Tracy touch on because he's heading this one up. Squire?
Judge, this is a literacy program or project that there's 5 partners involved, and ultimately it's a county-wide project. The National literacy group is looking at Franklin County and Thornhill as the models for this program. So again, there's going to be an event on October the 20th. It's going to be 2 flights, 22 teams of a flight. Should be a great day.
Perfect. I appreciate you all working on that. I know it's getting a lot of movement, which is a great thing, because it's a great thing that the Fiscal Court's involved with, so everybody should be proud of that. That's all I have. Now, I believe Mr. Hawkinsmith here is to give us a road department update. Morning, Stephen.
Morning, Court.
How you doing today?
Pretty good. The last couple of weeks, the guys have been working hard on the lot. They've been moving culvert pipe, guardrail, and I-beams to the home street lot. We've been mowing, mow trimming, had the yard waste, we've been patching, and we've been chipping. And also tomorrow, we've got the bid opening for the mow trim and the trauma screener.
Is that here, Stephen?
It's at the road department.
Okay, it is?
Yeah.
Have you all received many bids, you know?
We've received one, and usually some of the other guys like to hand deliver them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right, what questions y'all have for Stephen, Squire Tracy?
Thank you again on the mow trimming. Great job on that.
A lot of, especially from a couple of the bus drivers, so great job on that.
Mike, share again.
And then in regards to the pipe, the amount of pipe that's came out of the back, has that surprised
That
anyone?
surprised me. We didn't know we had that much material back there once we got digging around, so, yeah, it's been quite a bit of work. Still have a lot more to go.
Are you gonna have enough room at Home Street to kind
Yes.
of park everything as needed and things like that?
Yes.
Good. Squire Wiseman, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the guys here, the road department. I think the county roads are fantastic this year, and we, every call I get, there's often something that I have to explain, generally about the mow trim, that we can't get to it just yet. We're trying, but things falling apart. We're going to try our best to get to it. So just wanted to thank all you all for the work you're doing.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thanks.
very much, Stephen. Appreciate what everybody's doing down there. Got a big day on the agenda for the road department. Alrighty, we're gonna move on.
Judge, can I ask for a point of clarification? We have public comments on the work session, but we've said that we're not allowing public comments?
Mr. County Attorney?
We have to, due to this being a special agenda, we have to stick to the items on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Well, the topic is a broad generalization, is on the agenda, but the topics that may be discussed in public comments are what need to be on the agenda. So it could be a public comment regarding something that is not addressed on the agenda, and I don't believe that can be taken up at a special meeting.
That's not my experience in the past. I mean, generally, we have a public, I mean, this was a special call meeting because we needed to change it to allow the judge to go on a trip. We need to allow the public to have comment any time that we have a meeting together on anything that they would like to bring before the court.
Squire, I'm not an attorney. I'm just going by what
I
he told me
get
when he
it,
got
and
here
that's
this morning.
our advice, but, and also I'm concerned that we didn't have other business on this agenda because it was a special call, but again, it was a moved regular meeting. I had a number of items I would like to have brought up, but it isn't. Didn't think it was. Well, I would err on the side more that we need to allow public comments no matter what people would like to state, so I don't know if anyone here has any, but I get
I'm
our
not an
legal
attorney. I'm
advice.
Marlene, our county attorney. I mean, I'll do whatever he think is fit. I mean,
If someone can state that it's related to something that's on the agenda, they have
If it's related to something on the agenda,
they have every
that's
right to
fine.
speak then, correct?
If it's related to something on the agenda, that would be fine, but no actions can be taken, and no discussions can be had other than things that are covered on the agenda, and that's specifically set forth in the statute. So if you want to go off statute and take actions and have discussions on things that aren't listed in a special meeting, then you do so at your own risk.
Judge, could we ask if anyone has comments related to anything that's on the agenda then?
we can, we just need to be real careful. And if it goes somewhere else, if anybody like to come up and talk public comments about anything that's on the agenda, then we'll so do it. Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe our coroner has something to say. Sorry, cut me off guard. He's looking through the window. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Doing fine.
Everything okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
just checking in.
Okay. Alrighty, well, we're gonna keep moving then. Glad you could join us.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty,
Is there anyone?
I asked. I
Is
didn't
there
see-
anyone? Yes, good comment. Just want to make sure.
Okay.
Always decide on giving their.
Well, and that was my intention, but then when the county attorney told me before I came up here this morning, I mean, it's what he does. I'm not a lawyer. He's here to keep us out of trouble, so, no, I'm with you. I always want to hear what anybody has to say, but, and I don't agree just because we had to move dates because I have to go to DC, that this is really a special meeting, but I guess we gotta follow the law. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that, so. It's all good. Alrighty, we're gonna head on to the, is there any questions about our minutes from our August 24th meeting? From the public hearing, I guess we'll start with that one. I believe nobody showed up from the public. The next agenda item is a regular meeting on August 24th, 2023. Anything from minutes? Authorization to receive final payment of our 2022 excess fees from the county clerk. Alrighty, and then I believe, Jack, you know, I know Chris is out of town.
Chris is on Zoom.
Chris is on Zoom.
Yeah.
Sheriff Choir, you with us?
I'm here, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Thank you for being with us. I know you're away at training this week, so I didn't know you were going to be on, so thank you for that. So would you like to, the agenda item we are on is about the 2024 Toyota Camry to be purchased from the State Master Agreement?
Yes, that's actually in the budget with $150,000 for our car, so we're just asking if we can buy that car for one of the school resource deputies.
Okay, any questions for the sheriff on that purchase? Okay, next, Sheriff, we're going to talk about the surplus of firearm at the jail.
Yes, I'm not sure if Laura or Ron is on here, but I can do it if they're not. I know that's for the retired jailer. I
That's
believe
okay.
that's-
Laura's here, Sheriff, so please go to the podium so Squire Sebastian can hear you and anybody else listening. Good morning, Laura.
Hello. So here we have the surplus for Jailer Bonus weapons. They're reimbursed, they're paid by the FOP so that he can keep them. And then attached, we also had the appraisal on the weapons.
Laura, can I ask a question? Typically, isn't it only one of the firearms that is retired? Is it?
It's typically two.
Okay, it is, okay, thank you. Any questions for Laura on this? Squire West?
Yeah, I was just wondering what, a new replacement cost would be for these. And if we surplus these and have to buy and replace them brand new, do we have a general estimate of beyond the appraisal of the?
I don't believe we do because we didn't request anything as far as like a new quote on what these would be, just the appraisal of what they are in their current condition.
Sheriff, do you know what a new .40 caliber Glock goes for these days?
A brand new one on our pricing's around $500.
Thank you. Squire Tracy?
Just to follow up on your question, Judge, I don't recall doing for two service weapons. So, Sheriff, is it, when someone retires from your agency, do you all normally purchase both?
Of course, I'm new into the jail business, so I don't know how they've done it, but since I've been here, we've only gave them the one that they carry on their gun belt, their Glock pistol.
Their primary weapon? Okay, thank you.
For deputy.
If I can say, I know that when Jailer Rogers retired, it was two weapons as well. And then in my time there, that's the only two that I've even, that one and this one that I'm even familiar with.
Thank you.
I got a question for anybody who can answer it. One of them's a Glock 22 and the other one's a Glock 27. What's the difference?
Size.
I have to say,
27 smaller, more concealable.
I can answer that.
Go ahead. Hey, good morning.
The Glock 22 is the duty weapon that you would see in a uniformed officer's holster, and the Glock 27 is a smaller pistol that's intended for off-duty. duty carry, concealed carry. So it's much smaller.
So the 27 is larger than the 22.
The opposite. 22 is the large one and 27 is
So the
smaller.
Glock 27 is a carry pistol.
It is a concealed carry pistol.
Concealed.
Learned something new today, Squire, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Squire Wisman.
I know if you pull the trigger, they'll
Judge-
go off.
Generally, sort of a couple of concerns. Anytime we have, I always harp on this in any of our meetings, anytime we have a surplusing or a sale, we really should have a serial number, especially with the firearm, I would think, to make that. And I'm a bit concerned, generally, given the situation we're in, that this is an elected position. It was not here a terribly long time. I realize we have a program for retiring officers, but at the time, I think I'm not in support.
Okay. Any other questions for Laura or Ron? Seeing none, thank you. And then the next one is, I believe, Tammy. Is Tammy here? Oh, back here hiding. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning.
The sheriff, you're still on, correct? You're by yourself.
Yes.
Oh, there he is. I was going to say, it has my notes that he's going to be here with you, so,
okay.
yeah, go ahead.
This is an authorization to apply for the KCO Workers' Compensation Fund insurance grant for the purchase of 2 restraint chairs for their regional county jail. Last year, the court applied and was awarded this grant for the purchase of lift equipment for the fire department.
Are these the chairs that have been inoperable? I guess I could ask Laura that question. Is that,
They have. In the past, we absolutely just were.
could you get to the mic and make sure? No, you're fine. I just want to make sure Squire Sebastian here.
We've been able to do replacement parts. Both of the chairs in their order are beyond replacement parts. It's the actual mechanisms of the chair that we're experiencing issues with, and they're not functioning how they should.
Okay. So there is a 20% match on this. Any questions for Tammy or the sheriff on this?
So those chairs are $6,300?
Yes, that's for both chairs and shipping.
Okay, 2 chairs, okay.
Judge Sherry has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Squire Sebastian. I was zoning off there for a minute.
Thank you, Judge. Can someone speak to there being sufficient money in the appropriate line item for the match? Or are we gonna have to do a budget transfer or move funds to ensure that the match is there?
It's a great question.
Since this is a non-budgeted item, it was certainly not discussed, the need for this during the budget discussions.
Okay. Laura, would you or Ron maybe know that? Because
Yeah, so the line that this would typically come out of would be specialty equipment, and we would be okay to use the 20% match from there.
okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you for that question, Squire Sebastian. Any other questions? Squire Wisman.
Mr. West, could you just speak maybe a little bit more generally to educate me what this grant program, what kind of expenses are eligible, equipment in the future, fire departments used in the past, just so we have a better idea of when this comes up, what priority could be eligible?
Oh, goodness. I did not bring my sheet that has, it was equipment. There were like 3 things that we could apply for.
I'll come get with you.
Trying to rack my brain. I'm
That's okay.
sorry.
Thank you.
I should have brought that.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we're going to keep moving. Thank you. Sheriff, thank you for being on. Good luck at your training this week. Alrighty. Does anybody have any questions about the Peaksville Water District's audit report for December 31, 2022 and for 21? Seeing none, we're going to move on. And I believe we already talked about the District 5 things with Tom Hall. I will say if magistrates could get, I know we've done this before, but I don't want to miss anything. If you all have maintenance things in your district, let's go ahead and get all that emailed in. And obviously, I sent a letter maybe to the high ups and the guys doing it didn't get it. So I apologize for that, but I would have thought that would have been shared. So I have the old letter, but it sounds like some of the things mentioned today, I don't remember being on that. So if you can, get your thoughts together and send an email in to Mitzi, and we'll get another letter going. So, and maybe we'll try to get he said there's a new person in our area, so we can meet him, and it'd be nice to hand him and Mr. Tippett, it sounds like, that letter. So, perfect. All righty, next one, I believe Ally is here to present. Good morning.
All right. Good morning, Judge, members of the court. What I have here is a change to an ordinance for the definition of yard waste. What we're dealing with right now is the road department is doing scheduled pickups for yard waste residential. We're wanting to kind of get more specific with the definition of yard waste. And so after speaking with some members of the road department, we kind of narrowed down what would be helpful in terms of that residential pickup to get as specific as possible. And so some things like the chipper only fits in stumps like 12 inches in diameter, so we're trying to keep it around 10. Weeds can clog up the chipper. And piles too large, or piles like not stacked parallel with the branches, it can take over 30 minutes for 4 people to clean up these piles. So, to us, that exceeds the definition of yard waste, so.
So just share with the court, I know this has been going on for a while, and I know, we do the community good, picking up limbs and things like that, but it just feels like the more feedback we've gotten, it's kind of got out of hand as far as what people are leaving and things like that, and some contractors are taking advantage of the service that we're giving to our community. So Ally, kind of like she said, she met with some of the road department. We've talked, so we're trying to really kind of, we still want to help people out, but they need to help us out too, and it needs to be manageable, and we don't need to send equipment out and things like that to pick up limbs. So that's what we're trying to do with this ordinance. As far as, we thought there was something in the ordinances, Jack looked everywhere, Ally looked everywhere, we couldn't find a true definition, so that's how we ended up here. So I appreciate Ally taking this on and working with our road department personnel to kind of come up with a good description that we can, so when people call in now, we'll be able to say it needs to meet this criteria, and just communicate with everybody what we're proposing. Squire Blackburn.
Is this something that we'll advertise as well?
Yes, we'll probably need to set a date on it, and educate. I think Ally's going to do a little education piece on social media and some other things. And then, I believe there's a pretty good list of typically the same people that call in and things like that. So we had talked about sending a brochure out to all the people that, for the last year or two that have used this service to kind of say, starting on this date or even immediately, this is the rules. So, Squire Tracy.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, this is a program I think started out innocent per se and turned into a debacle. You look up and you got 6, 8, 10 guys out picking up tree limbs from fence rows and everything else, and contractors that are taking advantage of homeowners. So I think a lot of this is going to fall back on the ordinance and the guys saying, hey, this don't match, this, we can't do this. So communicating it to the public is going to be very important, but also it's going to be very helpful for the guys at the road department as well.
Yeah, that's our goal.
Yeah, I think it'll free them up to really do road department stuff instead of yard waste.
Absolutely. Squire Tanner.
I got one brief question. Who determined that a 10-inch diameter piece of wood would go through a chipper?
Some of the members at the road department staff.
The road department?
Uh-huh.
A 6-inch will go through a chipper.
Yeah, and this says 10-inch. It's big.
6-inch.
That's a huge piece of wood. 10 inches of saw log,
Okay.
nearly. You could actually make a cross tie out of that if you wanted to.
Okay. Well, then we'll have to.
This needs to be 10 inch, 6 inches, and not 10.
Okay, we'll have to get that changed.
Is that an amendment, sir?
Clerk, could you make sure that gets changed before we go into the voting session?
Yes.
So I think
We don't vote on the first reading.
Okay, that's fine. That's what we make sure. Yeah, perfect. Any other, Squire Wisman?
Judge, just, as a member of the Solid Waste Committee, we looked at this, and I think this is let's just say a first stab at a larger, so don't be surprised maybe if some other language comes back up. We pulled the old ordinance from 6-7 years ago that had some drastic changes and definitions removed, and a lot of things that we're thinking we need to go back and look at, and maybe look at the whole program. Generally for solid waste, especially for the at-home pickup, and better define some things. So I think this is just an initial attempt to take care of a problem immediately. And I would think that we would put this into effect at the point that it's voted upon, with some proper communication to the public. But we'll probably come back and maybe even alter or define some things, I would think, even more, so.
Thank you, Squire Wisman. You're absolutely right. And like Squire Tracy said, it started out, we believe, years ago as innocent, and we're trying to help the community, and it's kind of been brought to our attention, it's gotten out of control, and road department needs to get back to doing the road department things, and so I think this is good all the ways around. But yes, you are correct that there'll probably be some other changes to this ordinance once we kind of have some time to dig in a little bit more. Any other questions for Ally? Seeing none, thank you, Ally.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you, guys.
Yep. All righty, I believe Robert's up next for first reading. Morning, Robert.
Good morning, Judge, good morning, Court. This ordinance is for a zone map amendment for property located 1190 P Ridge Road from rural residential district to agricultural district. Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on August the 10th, 2023. Adopted a summary of the evidence and prepared findings of fact and a recommendation to the Fiscal Court of approval of the request.
And I believe this is Squire Wisman's district, is that right? It is. Do you have any concerns with this you want to share with the court, or any feedback you've gotten from any citizens?
I can't say that I've got any feedback from
Of the neighboring properties now.
Okay. Make sure you turn your mic on, Squire Sebastian. Remember, she's zooming in. Could you just repeat what you said, please?
Yes, sorry. I can't say that I've got any feedback from any of the adjoining properties, no. And I was looking for the, 1 second.
So Robert, just to make sure we're clear, staff has recommended approval on this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And Judge, I found the statement I was wanting to, the statement of fact in our packet that our intended use of the property is to raise cattle and grow locally farm produced crops.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
All righty. Amy's up next. Good morning, Amy.
So this is our first amendment to our budget. This is the first reading, and it will increase the budget by $895,852, making our new budget $52,163,271. If we exclude the capital expenses and the federal projects, it increases that budget by $459,398. With that budget excluding capital expenses and federal projects to $32,158,907.
Okay, what questions do we have? I know she just gave a lot of information there, so what questions do we have for Amy on these items?
Judge?
Go ahead, Squire Wisman.
Just one, Amy, the fire fund for the training facility, that's not been long since we applied for that fund. Have we already received those funds?
It has been awarded. We haven't received the funds.
Thank you.
Looking down on this list, I just want to thank Greg Fry, our maintenance personnel, for getting the AOCs pressure washed and window washing. The judges were very happy over there. It's never been done since the courthouse was built. It's something that was kicked down the road, and it was as simple as getting some quotes and getting it approved. So they're very happy to have a clean building over there now. So I appreciate Greg Fry doing that for us. Any other questions? All righty, seeing none, thank you, Amy. I believe Tammy and Chief Brewer are here. Tammy, you got a little busy today, don't you? You're up here for the next couple.
Yes, can I go back and answer Squire Wisman? Sorry, I've got the titles right.
Yeah, please do.
The priority areas for the insurance grant this year are vehicle accidents, lifting accidents, law enforcement liability related to detention center and sheriff office operations, and cybersecurity.
Another grant for cybersecurity related as well. So,
Coming up.
Thank you. I know, I generally thought that there was sort of a focus year by year, so
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay, we have an authorization to apply for the Kentucky Fire Commission Thermal Imaging Camera Grant to obtain one thermal imaging camera.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Chief Brewer, how many cameras do you have now?
So we run these on our frontline apparatus. Every truck has one. We have one that is on our rescue truck that's about 20 years old. It's got its issue. That's why it's downgraded to the rescue truck instead of a frontline engine. And we're going to try to replace it through this grant.
Okay. Tammy, could you tell us, and if you don't mind from now on, maybe tell us how much it's for, what's the grant for?
I can speak on that. So this grant is different. The Fire Commission is doing it a little differently. Instead of the fire department getting quotes and purchasing the cameras, we're going to apply which make and model we want. And if we're awarded, the Fire Commission will actually buy the camera and deliver it to the department, so there will never be an impact on our budget through this grant. They're changing the way they do those. The last few grants they've done have been that way. I don't know if they're harnessing a larger quantity of buying them for departments across the state to get better pricing or what, but that's kind of the way they're transitioning to some of their grants.
Okay. Squire Sebastian?
Thank you, Judge. Chief, can you answer what, if any, software upgrades are needed for this, or any type of maintenance fees for these imaging cameras that might cause it, that will have some budgetary impact? Clearly not immediately, but at some point will.
So there are no software updates. If it's anything very, that the company was to come out saying there was an issue with them, that should be covered under the company's warranties. But typically, there's no issues with these. They either, work properly or they are damaged in some way. But they're built pretty rugged to be able to handle the firefighting atmosphere.
My second question is, what's the life expectancy for this type of equipment? You had indicated this was a pretty old piece of equipment that was being replaced. Certainly newer pieces of equipment sometimes don't have the same longevity. Could you talk to us a little bit about that, please?
Typically, we would expect these to last 15 to 20 years. That's what most of these cameras have lasted. And like I say, most of the cameras are less than 3 years old. This is the last camera they have that is in excess of that, and it's, like I say, it's 20 years old.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Squire Wisman.
Mr. Brewer, can you give us just a rough estimate of what the cost would be for one of these cameras?
They're about, the one we're applying for is a little bit smaller. It's a more handheld version for the rescue truck. But most of them run between $6,000 and $7,000.
And you said that all of the other cameras are within 3 years old?
3 to 5, I think, because we've been awarded this grant in the past. In the past, it was a 50% match grant. This year, like I said, they're restructuring the way they're doing it. There's no match required. And I think the oldest one we have, other than the one we're trying to replace, is maybe 5 years old. We have several that are 2020, 2021 models, and then I think the first one we got was 2018.
I would imagine these were new 20 years ago when that camera came out. I'm sure the one that you're looking to replace, I'm sure that the operating systems of these things have come along greatly in that amount of time.
Yeah, they've come up with several new features that have been very beneficial.
But if they're all within that new time frame, I was wondering if we had others that we needed to look at replacing just because of the advances in technology.
No, all the current ones we have, with the exception of the one we're trying to replace, are the exact same model, so that no matter what truck you go to, they're the same version, operate the same way.
Thanks.
Any other questions on this item? Seeing none, we'll move to the next one.
This is an authorization to apply for the Kentucky Fire Commission Personal Protective Equipment Grant to obtain structural firefighting protective equipment.
Squire Wisman.
Mr. Brewer, can you just speak again to generally a rough estimate of the amount that you're looking to replace? You've came to us and talked about the need and desire to replace some of this equipment several times, but hopefully we're awarded this and can start doing that.
Yes, so we have some budgetary funding for personal protective equipment, which our PPE carries a 10-year service life. And they're doing this grant similar, so they have a level of priority. Obviously, they're going to start with departments that, there may be some smaller volunteer type departments that have firefighters that may not have gear, and then we're going to be lower on the priority list. But we do have some gear that's in the 5 to 10 year range. So as far as structural firefighting gear, we have about 38 sets that are more, between 5 and 10 years old.
There's no. Squire Sebastian's had her hand up. If you don't mind, then Squire Tanner. Yep. Sherry?
Thank you, Judge. Chief, is any of this fitted to a person's body size, or is it universal? And as a firefighter rotates off and get a new firefighter, and they can just assume this equipment?
So we actually have the guys measured for the gear so that it fits them properly. However, you know, if we do have someone move on, typically we can find gear that is of the right size for a new person most of the time. So if we have, say we have someone who left to go to another department, we maintain that gear, and then the next person's hired in. If they can fit that gear to make sure they're going to get through the process and going to be a contributing member of the department and pass their probationary status, we would get through all that before we would ever look at measuring them for gear. However, we always try to make sure that if we have someone who matches the same size, that we continue that gear on with that person for the rest of that service life of that gear.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Yes,
My question is simple. Does this require any match at all?
No, this is on the same premise. So what they're going to do, if we were awarded any funding for this, they basically just give us a voucher. We go to the vendor that we select, say the Fire Commission has awarded us this much money for gear. We get the gear measured, fit, purchased, and then the Fire Commission would pay the vendor. So there's no match at all for this grant.
Any other questions for Tammy or the chief? Seeing none, thank you, Chief. Appreciate everything you're doing. And Tammy, let's go to the next one. I'm not going to thank you yet because you still have 3 or 4 more to go, I think.
This is an authorization to apply for the state and local cybersecurity grant program through the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security. Under this grant, there are 4 objectives with funding priority given to objectives 1 and 2. The Enhanced Network Vulnerability Penetration Testing Project falls under Objective 2. The upgrading of the firewalls and the security camera project fall under Objective 3. We were waiting on final quotes to determine the exact match amount, so those have come in now, and so our match will be $8,306.28. And this is a reimbursement grant.
Squire Sebastian, I'm going to let you lead her off.
Thank you, Judge. Just wanted to ask if there were additional costs that may be borne out at a later time through like additional servers that are needed for data storage or any type of software upgrades that are built in at a certain period, any type of maintenance agreements that we might have on these that will come at a later date that we're not aware of at this time, or additional wiring for our telecommunication closets and that type of thing, just to kind of truly get the cost figure for this equipment. I think it's a great thing. It's just trying to understand the whole cost of it all. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to say, Mr. Tippett, can you answer that?
we also have?
Well, several of these services are services, so they're not just hardware costs. So the grant term is 4 years, and we're applying for like the firewall service, that portion, we're applying for 4 years, and the penetration vulnerability is a 4-year, we're applying for 48 months basically. So at the end of the grant, if we want to continue that, those are costs that we would assume, but I mean, as far as additional cost, I don't anticipate, within that 4-year period. Jonathan, do you want to add anything? Jonathan's with us.
Mr. Vaught's in the room. Jonathan, why don't you come on up and, I know you came here to be on TV this morning, so. You gotta make sure you're talking to the mic there, so Squire Sebastian can hear you.
That is a point well taken. The 4 years, the only hardware component to that we identified when I was asked to review what some potential hardware deficiencies were those two. And their lifespan is about 4 years anyway. So, and that covers the services as well. So my understanding in collaborating with staff on learning a little bit more about this, and I should point out that through the course of this process, we discovered that there are several free security services that are available to local and county governments that, working with Andrew, I went ahead and signed up for, and some of them actually have already been implemented within the last week. So that was kind of, I'll have a report on that to him soon. But by and large, just to kind of answer your question on on that, that's basically, we're looking at this from a 4-year standpoint.
Squire Wisman.
Can you speak a little to the scope of the current services? I think Squire Sebastian brings up a good point. We've been discussing a lot of transition to digital forms of operation here, online payment processing for planning and zoning, for instance. That I'm concerned that we're moving much more to a digital platform where we were not at all prior. Was that broader scope part of this consideration, or is this just sort of based on existing usage that we have?
Might be an Andrew.
Andrew, do you want to answer that question for Squire Wisman, please?
I would say that, what we're looking at is primarily, where we are today. And, I feel like even without the grant, we're in a decent, spot with our cybersecurity. This is going to take us to the next level. I think it will cover some of our new platforms as well. Although, seeing into the future is, a little bit difficult, what might change, and technology is always changing and upgrading. And so we may have to take a look at that as that develops a little bit. But I think this puts us in a pretty good spot, a better spot than we are today, cybersecurity wise.
Also, this grant's going to be offered next year and the year following. It was offered last year at a 10% match. Not a lot of people applied for it. I don't know if it was a quick turnaround time, just the word didn't get out. Kentucky was allocated $7.4 million. So next year, I'm not sure how much money Kentucky will be allotted, but if it's around that same amount. But next year it'll be a 30% match, and the year following it'll be a 40% match.
And one of the things I'll add, this grant is, there's 4 components, and it's really about building a program and continually, testing and monitoring. And that's part of, what the penetration vulnerability testing will do, is allow us to have increased monitoring and capabilities. So,
as the situation changes, we can react more quickly and address any vulnerabilities. So I think the grant really is trying to have us have a comprehensive program, which is great, you know. So I think that'll help us to address any future needs.
If I can address one other, Squire Wisman, during the course of this time period, new online applications would be covered by that. So if you brought online, say, vendor X to provide a particular online system, there is capacity to have that covered by the vulnerability and scanning and testing. So there's so that's covered.
Also, as part of this grant, we have to have a sustainability timeline, and we have to kind of tell what we're going to do next year, add to, you know, our plan, and we've got a quote from McAllen for patch management, so we're looking at that to add to apply for next year.
You already almost answered my question, Ms. West, but we can apply multiple times if phase one or priority one is funded for us this year. We can go back and have some addendums and add some additional elements to apply again.
Oh, yes, so definitely, we can apply again next year, and if we don't, for instance, if we receive funding for the penetration testing, but we don't receive funding for the cameras, since they do fall under Objective 3, then we can definitely apply next year, and we've already been through the process this year, so that'll just help us next year to apply again.
The total amount of the grant we're applying for is $10,000 even then, or about?
The total amount of the grant is $41,531.40 is the total amount that we're applying for.
Squire Blackburn.
Were you able to get somebody to pick up the phone this
Yes.
morning at Homeland Security?
Well, an email. They emailed me.
Okay, good, thank you.
Andrew, I'm going to ask you a question if you don't mind. Do you have this in your budget?
So I've been talking with Amy about that. It depends on our match and when it is required. I would say yes, we can absorb. If we had to pay the full match in this year, it might be a little tight, but I don't think we're going to have to pay the full match this year. And if that's the case, I do believe we have plenty of funding in our budget. I believe it's going to come to about $8,000, the total match. Isn't that correct? Over 4 years potentially, Tammy?
Yes. So this is a reimbursement grant, so as we incur, as we purchase things, then our portion would then be due.
So in theory, if this is a 4-year plan, it could be stretched over 4 years. In theory, okay. Perfect. Any other questions? Squire Wisman.
Judge's comment, if we're not awarded the grant, I still think we maybe should take some steps to review our systems entirely, maybe go ahead and expend some funds to make sure, it's technology is an ever-moving target, and we're, again, transitioning into a more digital format. I think we need to make sure our citizens are protected.
Well, and I want to thank Andrew and especially McAllen here, Jonathan. Obviously he said, looking at this grant, they identified some things that we're eligible for free that they've already, put in motion. So I think that's a good first step, regardless of what happens. So.
Right, and let me stress, and that's one of the things I told Tammy earlier. If it's a critical need, we're going to address it. I'm going to bring that to the judge and the court if needed. Earlier this year, Jonathan brought to me a need to upgrade our, email security and protections with our email system. We did not wait. And if it's and Jonathan told us we need to address this quickly, if there is a critical need, we will address that. We're not going to wait necessarily for a grant. These things are all great and will help us. They're more kind of like the cherry on top, I think.
And the program period is to begin December 1st, so we could get moving pretty quickly on some of these things.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none? Tammy, you're down to your last one, I believe.
Yay!
Yeah.
This is an authorization for the signing of an of an MOU with the City of Frankfurt for their use of the 2023 Justice Assistance Grant funds in the amount of $10,169.
So can you explain that a little bit more in depth? Exactly what is it, please?
So we have an agreement with the city that we alternate years to apply for this grant. So we received the grant in 2022, and they are going to apply for it this year. And this MOU just basically establishes that agreement.
Says that we're playing friendly.
Do what?
Says that we're playing friendly with our
Yeah.
friends. Any questions from the court? I already see none. Tammy, thank you for all your good work. Got a lot of good stuff on the agenda today. Thank you. Amy, you're back up, it looks like.
So the state performed our audit for last year. We sent a letter out to them and they declined. So this is the engagement letter for Charles Mitchell to perform our audit for the June 30th, 2023.
Squire Tanner.
The auditor, state auditor declined to do our audit, is that what you said?
Yes.
And they recommended Charles T. Mitchell,
No,
or
they-
we picking them ourselves?
They did not recommend. They give us the choice.
Do they have to approve Charles T. Mitchell or not?
No.
Thank you.
Squire Sebastian.
I know this sets the fee somewhere between 20 to 22,000, and it does state in the agreement that if there are any circumstances, I guess, that they run across, they will let us know immediately because the cost could significantly affect that. So I just want everybody to be mindful that while they've set a rate, if there is anything that they do find, the cost will go up. It's not contained at that amount from 20 to 22. Or if they have to do additional work to unearth something, or so we just need to be mindful of that.
Thank you, Squire Sebastian. Amy, I'm gonna ask you a question just so everybody understands. So is it typical that the state declines doing the audit? I mean, is this normal practice?
They're on a cycle of about every 4 years.
Okay,
And so every year we ask them,
right.
are we on your schedule to do that?
So is this money in the budget to pay for the audit? Do we have it
Yes.
budgeted? Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Squire Wisby.
Whoever can speak to it, I mean, we have an existing relationship with Charles T. Mitchell, but I'm wondering, and that's fine to move forward, I'm wondering if, when was the last time we were to look at all their alternatives? It's not necessarily a required bid type of situation, right? But Amy, can you
Right.
elaborate on that?
For professional services, we are not required to bid. Just in my research, it looks like the last year we did a bid was 2019.
Okay. Just for my information, thank you.
No, I think that's very good. I think we're trying to do that across the board. So maybe next year that's something we look at, knowing that it's going to be coming. If the state declines it again, then maybe we put it out for bid just to be fair.
It is my recommendation to use a firm that's familiar with us. It saves time and money when they've done your audits before.
Okay, it's a good point. Any other questions for Amy on this? Thank you. Let's move on to Treasurer's report, please.
So the last page of your treasurer's report has the summary of receipts, expenses, and your total fund balances for the 2 months ended August 31st. We do have a fund balance total $30,172,567. Just keep in mind that does include the $10 million bond proceeds.
All right, any questions for Amy on the Treasurer's report? Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. Madam Treasurer, I do have a question about 01-5005-321, which is office space rental at the Judicial Center. So far, 50% has been expensed and expended. Do they bill us quarterly for that? And I guess, are they a quarter ahead? Because the quarter wouldn't end until the end of September. Do you know?
We do pay quarterly and they do bill ahead, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it appeared that way, but I wasn't sure. The other question I have is fire under 17. So it's 5120446 under protective clothing. There's 19,000 encumbered, for clothing. Is there, out of the budgeted amount, which is 24. So is there a reason, that the bulk of that 80-something%, 80 to 90% is encumbered?
The Chief Brewer's gonna answer that.
Yes, I can speak on that. So every year we order so many sets of gear to maintain that 10-year rotation. And due to lead times, we've already placed the order. Actually just did it the last few weeks to get that gear rolling. So that gear should be in 3 to 4 months. We just will make sure we get it in this fiscal year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions for Amy on this? Squire Wisman?
Amy, jail fund, there is a line item for training incentive for the jailer that's 99.86% expended at this point. Do you know if that training was for previous year, or was that the current fiscal year for the payout for the previous jailer?
It's the previous year, and that comes from DLG. Once he's met the required hours, then they keep track of that. They send us a notice, and we run it through the payroll.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Amy, thank you. Alrighty, payment of claims. Does anybody have any questions for Kim on payment of claims? Squire Sebastian. You're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry, it's hard to get this off mute. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
On page 4, in the 01 section, I tell you what, let's start at page 3. I apologize. 01-5212-348. There is a group called Georgetown Football Club. Are they actually in Franklin County that is going to, be paid for picking up litter here? And is there a requirement that groups have to be from Franklin County to receive the benefit of picking up in Franklin County? And if not,
I'm sorry. Squire Tracy would like to answer that one.
Sure.
It's GFC Frankfurt. The reason they operate under the GFC umbrella is for insurance purposes, and they allow them to use their facilities. But it's GFC Frankfurt. It's a group of kids. It's a group of coaches and kids that are all from Frankfurt.
All right, so it is Frankfurt.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It jumps out at you when you look, and it's called Georgetown. On page 4, 01-5401-586, those flowers, I guess, for Lakeview that were spent at Wilson, were these actually shrubs? The only reason I'm checking is that, the greenhouses, the local high school greenhouses grow plants, and there's a huge mum sale going on right now. So if they're fall flowers, I was wondering if there's an opportunity to, help out our school system by working with them to get fall flowers. If they know in advance, they can make sure that they have that grown throughout the summer. And it extends that partnership that we already have with them. So just asking a question if it was shrubs or something else.
I believe she's looking at that, but I think that's an excellent question, because we do want to support our local schools. I'm assuming personally, if it's in here already, it's not mums and things, but I don't know, it seems like it'd be more summer annuals or maybe some replacement shrubs, but just because time of the year.
It is mums.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we need to contact Mr. Lewis about that for anything in the future.
We need to look at that going forward, because right now with Western Hills is having a huge sale on their homes, and everything I've heard from that FFA group, it would be excellent to continue to support the work that they're doing and to showcase that here across the county.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect, and, hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Good, good. That's a great idea. I'll be happy to do that.
And they would be certainly happy to work with you. I talk to those groups pretty often, and they're always looking for opportunities to partner with the students. And so I've found some ways for the schools to partner in some other ways outside of the growing that they're doing to talk about their experiences, et cetera. But they would love the opportunity to work with us on that. I have one item on page 1 of the road department, which is 026105-445. It's for Info USA. Who can speak to this Frankfurt directory expense and what the purpose may be for that?
Eva, would you know anything about that? It's a directory book? Okay. Hey, John, I didn't see you back there. How you doing? Is that something we do every year?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's shaking their head, Sherry. That's something they do every year. Now Robert's shaking his head. Everybody's shaking their heads. Oh, Robert's gonna.
Historically, one is on file in the judge executive's office. And then I didn't know that the road department had it, but typically it's a book for this building.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's just expense to the road department. That's the only reason I'm asking. It's just, it seems odd to be expense there, but it is, so it is. Page 2 in that section, 035101-481. Can somebody tell me what a retirement badge and why that is an expense in these bills? I don't recall seeing that type of item, but it could have happened. But I'm not sure what the county benefit is for that expenditure in these bills.
Kim, can you speak on that? Because I'm not familiar with it.
You're talking about the jail fund of the uniforms?
No, it says it's a retirement badge. It says there's an expenditure there for retirement badges. I don't know what they are, but I'm not sure what the county benefit is for the expenditure on retirement badges. But I don't know what they are.
I believe it's Rich Mazzacone and Jailer Banta's retirement badge of going out. I have to double check the jail to make sure.
Kim, if you could let the court know kind of what that is and if that's something that's been done in the past, I guess, because I'm with Squire Sebastian. I never remember seeing that in bills before.
I don't recall. I have to look.
Okay.
And I think the overriding issue here is what is the benefit to Franklin County for the expenditure for the retirement badges? So do we include that or hold that out? Since we don't know what it is and what it's for.
I mean, I don't know. It's always been to me that if we receive something legally, we have to pay it. I know there's a lot of changes going on at the jail from this point forward, so I don't know if there's anything we can do that's already been done from a legal standpoint. Max, can you input a little bit there for me?
We are required to pay the bills, but if there's a question, I guess, regarding the bill and whether it should be paid.
So, Squire, would you like to pull that for some clarification and then potentially it'd be on the next agenda?
Could we, since I've spent more than one term on the court and I don't recall seeing it. I'm not saying that it may not have been there, but that would have been something that I feel certain I would have asked in the past.
Okay.
And the other reason I ask, if it's not necessarily for a county benefit, it appears that earlier in the court proceedings today, a group purchased some items that were not necessarily for the county benefit that funds were expended on. So I'm just not sure if this may be something that needs to happen in that same fashion, if it's not for a county benefit, if it's for a personal benefit. But and county attorney, you may be able to chime in on that.
I have no idea what a retirement badge is, so I don't know if it's for a county benefit or not. I don't know what it is. So I don't know.
If it's okay with the court, let's pull it, put it on the next agenda, because I don't want anybody voting on something that we're unsure of, if that's okay with everybody. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Squire Tracy, then Squire Blackburn.
This may not be the time, but would it be possible, just looking at the bills, would it be possible to get someone here from the jail to talk about these bills?
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, we had an energy savings project up there that was about 65 to 70% of it. And you would think insulation of water lines would have been done at that time. I mean, $3,600 to insulate water lines, you would have thought that would have been part of an energy savings project. Yeah, I mean, $900 to unclog a toilet.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
So if we can just have someone here.
We'll go Squire Blackburn, then Squire Sebastian, okay?
I got a question, maybe Will, Will, it says on here, I see it just cheer team, $1,500 a mile. Did the cheer team do something? So what we do?
Make sure you turn your mic on there, JW. Of course, I can't hear you. He was asking about the cheer team doing a little pickup, if it was cheer and dance, and he said it was for the roadside litter pickup, Squire.
So there was
All right, Squire Sebastian, your turn.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was just gonna finish the items I had.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So during the height of COVID, those who were on the court in the last term, remember that the jail purchased a bleach maker and shared how that was gonna aid the jail rather than to having purchased bleach all the time and for the facility. They also discussed that, bleach was being used across Franklin County government, and it would be a huge cost savings measure. So I inquire about this pretty often, and you recall if you sat on the court with us in the last term that I ask about it pretty often. Are other departments utilizing this bleach that was touted that it was going to be such a huge cost savings to us? And if they're not, we need to, again, make that connection across Franklin County where the fire department and out at the road department when they may need it, and at Lakeview Park and other places are utilizing this product that the jail is supposed to be making.
Okay, I'm gonna put Chief Brewer on the spot. Are you all received any bleach lately, or do you need any?
We have went to the jail and got bleach from them. We haven't done it recently, but we have done it in the past.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, and I think, road department's here, and I know Charlie's listening too, so it's a great question, because that is something that was talked about at length, so it's a good reminder, if nothing else, that we have plenty of bleach that's being made at the jail, if anybody needs some.
While Chief Brewer is available, I have two additional questions. 17, of course, he knows that's his budget code. 5120445, there's a $2,500 expenditure for pre-planning software. Can he just advise how that's being utilized there? So we'll have just some better understanding of what the pre-planning software does.
So that pre-planning, excuse me, the pre-planning software was the contract that was approved at the previous court meeting. And what it's going to allow us to do is, so a pre-plan, it gives us basic information about a facility that we can access when we get called for a fire emergency there. Gives us all the different hazards where all the different electric shutoffs, utility shutoffs, things like that are. So what this is going to do, we're going to be able to access through our MDTs and actually any device that has internet capabilities, such as like the BC cell phone on the rescue truck. And they'll be able to pull up all that information on the way to a call rather than having to flip through our old map books or our old pre-planned books and try to pull up that information by looking at a book. They can plug it in. It actually incorporates into our CAD software as well. So when we plug it in the software, it should automatically populate it and give us all the basic information we need on that response.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Squire. Squire Blackburn.
I see 2 payments to OHM. Is this for more? Did they do more work on the road facility? Or is this like just the changes of making an interior door for a bathroom instead of going outside? I mean,
I think this is part of the original draw, I
Okay.
believe. Kim, can you?
Yes, it was.
okay.
Yeah, so I think it's part of the original agreement we had with that whole project. Any other questions? Squire Wisman.
I'm wondering if anyone, we have a line item for a repair for a leak at the jail. I'm wondering if we can elaborate. There's been a rumor for quite a while about a leak in water loss at the jail. I'm wondering if this was a final solution that was maybe not discovered previously.
I think we'll invite them to the next meeting. I do know, talking to the sheriff, there was a break that they found, but also there was multiple running toilets. So all those have been fixed. There's a new maintenance person there. So I think, within a month or two, we'll be able to tell what the water usage is, if that was actually the problem.
As part of that, Judge, could we maybe ask them to look at that energy audit that was done? Those toilets were supposed to have automatic spring shutoffs, and I'm seeing a lot of bills here related to things that we were supposedly
I
just
agree.
upgraded and repaired.
We need to really get a hold of that energy thing, and I think we're going to set up a meeting to talk about that.
Yeah.
Squire Tanda, then Squire Blackburn, please.
I think y'all pretty
It
much,
was on.
pretty much covered what I was, you alluded to the fact that we have a maintenance person out there now, so all these expenditures gonna be handled by him, for
Correct.
example, all of them.
I can't speak for him, but I would assume anything between them and our maintenance people, we're going to try to handle everything internally. I can't speak for what happened a month or two ago, but from this
Well,
point forward.
that water's gone, I mean, that was literally, but, if we could do that, the jail ought to have its own, as big as that deal is out there, they gotta have their own maintenance person out there all the time.
And they do, and I know their maintenance person that they had taken some time off. And then, so, yes, there's a new person out there, I think, starting last week or something like that, that's making a lot of these changes and fixing toilets and things like that. So, and like I said, we can get the jail in here to ask directly. Ron or Sheriff Quark can come in the next meeting and talk about it.
Well, that's corrective action.
All right. Squire Blackburn, then Squire Wisman, then Squire Sebastian, please.
Just adding on to what Squire Wisman said, I'd like to have the energy folks back up here and talk to us.
Yeah.
In a court setting.
And I think I want to get you more involved with that committee, and I might even step aside because you and Squire Tracy were here on the last court when all that project was going on. I was on the court, but I wasn't part of it, so that's something we can talk about if that's okay.
Sure.
Squire Wisman.
Yeah, the clerk fund court bills, there's a $736 expenditure for microfilming. I'm wondering who is our contractor and what items are in relation to that contract and where they're stored, if I might ask.
Amy, can you speak on that?
No, I don't have information on it. I think that would need to be Jeff.
Okay. We'll have to maybe send that to
That's fine,
Jeff.
it's just
Yeah. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. Just want to have the court remember to be mindful that we did earlier in the year, and it may have been toward the end of last year, beginning of this fiscal year, sign a contract for some items of maintenance at the jail that were outside of the expertise of the staff for some particular pieces of equipment that they have there that need that additional hands-on and eyes-on and types of equipment that they have. So we have an in-house maintenance person that's supposed to take care of a majority of things, but there are a few items that are specialty that there is an outside maintenance company, because we spent quite a bit of time on that, discussing that in regard to the budget and what would be handled by the company and what would be handled internally. So when we have that staff person come and present, maybe a good idea to have that person bring that contract so that everybody on the court can be mindful of what an outside contractor is supposed to handle, the time window when they're supposed to respond to those items, and what's going to be handled by internal staff.
I think that's a great point. I remember like boiler systems and some things like that were a real big item that we weren't qualified to do. So yes, no, I think you're spot on there. Thank you. Squire Wisman, do you have another?
Judge, just a comment, actually. We have some expenditures in the road fund related to concrete for North Stony Creek, and I have to send a thank you to our road department for, from some of the residents out that way for working on that. You know, preventative cost of a little over $3,000 is replaced and restored, or not restored, propped up a bank system that could have been a really huge expense in the future. So I think that was a good solution.
Thank you. I'm sure they appreciate the comment. Any other questions for Kim on payment of claims? Thank you. Seeing none, I'm going to ask Chief to come back up.
Thank you, Judge. So this item's authorization to award the bid for 12 new Scott X3 Pro SCBA's and equipment. This year's budget, the fire department had funding in there for to begin the replacement of our SCBA equipment. We also applied for a grant. We're hoping that grant ends up coming through, but we have to get moving with these. So we'll put it out for bids with the bid opening on September 1st. 2 bids were received. Both bids met all qualifications, and 911 Fleet and Fire was the low bidder. It fell within the budget amount that the fire department had set aside for this in the budget, and we are recommending approval of awarding the bid to 911 Fleet and Fire for this equipment.
And I'll just say I was at that bid opening. I believe there was 2 bids, right?
There's 2 bids,
correct. It was tight.
It was less than $1,300 separating the 2 bids.
Which on almost $100,000, that's the kind of bids you want to see. So, any questions for Chief Brewer on this? All righty. Seeing none, thank you, Chief.
Can I take one step back quickly to some funds?
Which way are we going? We going back to Kim?
Yes.
Okay, Kim, you ready?
More just a request. In our recurring expenses, we have what seems to be fairly high, but I'm sure it's related to the county fair. There was over $4,000 to the plant board for Carter House and park offices. I'm just wanting to ask if we can maybe, we've already passed the mid-year point, that maybe we can ask for the Energy Committee to do an analysis of year's expenses related to all of our facilities from Columbia Gas, Frankfurt Plant Board, and otherwise. Just would like to ask to pull those. We never really have a way to evaluate from one court meeting to the next what these expenses are, and sometimes they seem a little higher than other times. I'm wondering if we can't catch things like a water leak at the jail if we do a more regular analysis of those. Thanks.
That would be fine. Charlie's on. He can speak about that one bill if you want.
Go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
Yes, thank you, Court. Hope you can hear me. Yep. Yeah, we did find a water leak here at the park also. We've had it repaired, and I'm in the process of communicating with the plant board to get some refunds back for that particular line. So that one that you saw there was pretty well elevated. It was going to go up anyway because of the fair. Excuse me. But we did find a leak, and I'm working on getting some money reimbursed. So that's where we are.
Anything else? Sorry, everybody. I'm gonna take a 5-minute recess before we dive into this next one because it's gonna be a big one. So let's take a 5-minute recess. We'll come back at 10:55. Thank you. got the B team today. We got the B team. Oh, we're live. Well, thank you. All righty. We're back in session. Sorry. Yeah, okay. All righty. Next agenda item is Mr. Jim Codell is with us today. We're excited to talk about the new road department facility. Bids came in very favorable, I feel. So, Jim, I'm going to let you get started. We're going to start with bid. Well, before we start with number 2, let's talk about number 1, because that's something the court has already approved. Can you kind of give us where we are with bid package number 1?
Bid package number 1, the court has approved in the amount of $797,000. The building is either here or will be here within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So that part is well underway and will not be holding us up.
And just so everybody knows who's watching, bid package 1 was the steel, basically the shell for the building and the shell for all the lean-to parking, correct, Jim?
That is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure if anybody's watching or whatever. I'm sorry, oh, and the erection, yeah, and actually putting it up.
Including the erection.
Yep, so, okay, so we have that going, so let's go to bid number 2. Jack, thank you for the copy.
So, yes, Jack, thank you. So on August 4th, we took bids, or August 8th, excuse me, we took bids for the balance of the project. Since then, we had to rebid one of the packages, the mechanical and plumbing. We have all the bids in.
And we rebid it because nobody submitted a bid for that package, just so everybody understands.
That's correct.
Okay.
So, while we did not receive as many bids as we would have hoped for and had hoped for, I am happy to report that the project came in approximately just under $700,000 less than what we anticipated, what we had budgeted for the project. We're here today to ask for approval of the low bids. The base bids total of $3,691,315, plus 2 alternates, one of which is the epoxy flooring. That's epoxy coating in all the shop areas. $126,500. We set these alternates up just to give us a little hedge room to make sure we're staying in budget. The other item not required by code, sprinklers and fire alarm were not required by code, but we bid the fire alarm as an alternate, came in at $38,375. We're here to recommend approval of that alternate as well, for a total of $3,856,190. Any questions?
I just want to say, so we have that 3856190, but then bid package 1 was 797,000 even, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and the other thing I want the court to be aware of is we still have to buy the lifts and things like a microwave, refrigerator, approximately probably $200,000 worth of infill items, I believe. Is that pretty close to accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just let everybody know, we are still hopeful we're at least $500,000 under budget, all in. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here moving forward. Okay, so Jim, do you want to start on bid package 2 and at least kind of say what it is and who, and how much it was?
Okay, so bid package 2, bid from Rising Sun Development, that's for the site work, $292,000. Bid package 3, asphalt paving, in the amount of $484,000 to Colston Paving. Bid package 4 is the general trades to Rising Sun once again. That's basically your concrete, your carpentry, your miscellaneous specialties, all of your concrete and carpentry items. Bid package 5 is masonry, again to Rising Sun Development. Bid package 6, it's for drywall, metal studs, and acoustical ceilings, to Bennett's Contracting in the amount of $22,000. Bid package 7 is the flooring, that's your tile and carpet, to Bennett's Contracting again in the amount of $15,000. Painting, the base bid is $24,600, the Rising Sun. The alternate is for the epoxy flooring in the shop area of $126,500. Bid package 9 is the plumbing and HVAC to Walker Mechanical in the amount of $446,000. And bid package 10 for AE Arts Electrical Services, base bid of $336,965 with the fire alarm alternate added at $38,375. Yes, sir.
Contracted for 15,000, then you got carpet for 25. So the alternate on the flooring, is that what I'm looking at for painting on bid package 8?
Good question. Turn your mic on, please.
Yeah, bid package 8 has painting,
Okay.
and it also has the alternate. Is that alternate for epoxy flooring?
Okay, so, yes, sir. So, not to confuse, bid package 7 is for your floor covering, okay? Carpet and tile.
Right.
Bid package 8, which is the painting, the base bid of $24,600 is for painting all the walls and ceilings. The alternate is for putting the epoxy flooring. Your painters do the epoxy flooring, not your carpet layers. You with me? So that's why that epoxy coating is in the painting package. Does that make sense?
Yes, so with bid package 7, that alternate on the other.
Bid package 7, the alternate does not affect them because you're either going with, in the base bid, it was bare concrete.
Right.
The alternate, the painter paints the floor.
Okay.
The flooring guy, the carpet and tile guy does not do anything with that shop floor.
Okay. So they were just talking about epoxy and workrooms and offices.
Just the work area. The bid package 7 is for the office and support spaces.
Okay.
The
So
front
if they were to epoxy those rooms?
There's flooring on those, though.
The epoxy doesn't go in those rooms.
They got a number here for epoxy flooring at 90,000,
Oh,
and then,
oh, okay, so that was the high bidder on that package.
so that's 115 for all the flooring. And then to do the flooring with the one contractor in bid 7 and the painting contractor for the epoxy is
Oh, wow, okay. I'm just.
140,000. So it's about a $40,000 difference. See what I'm saying?
I do. So, let's hold action on the epoxy flooring. I'm just, now I see where you're coming from, Judge.
I knew it was somewhere, that's why I was
Yeah.
asking.
Okay.
Yeah, there was some discrepancies.
Can we hold, can we just take action on everything?
The
but
base bid and maybe not alternate?
Yeah, let's hold, and then we'll go back and try to work that number. Yeah, well, no, or get it to hopefully where that 90,000 is. We want to take advantage of the 15,000, they're saving 10 grand on that, on the carpet and the tile. Let's just do that for now and then hold action on the epoxy flooring.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Jim, if I could ask real quick, when you say it's going to be painted, is the block painted also?
Hold on.
Okay. Squire Wisman, do you have a question?
Yeah, bid 3, we have two identical bids for 44. I'm wondering what the differentiations were and why we chose one over the other when they came in, or unless that's a typo or something that they were copied for the exact same amount. I find that odd that they came in at the same dollar.
The bids originally were not the same. The bids were set up for best value criteria, and part of that criteria was local, and so we gave the local contractor opportunity to match the low bid.
Gotcha. Thank you for that explanation. I would like us to institute a local preference ordinance at some point in the near future. I've brought it up before, that any time that we have a local company bids, that they get more favorable opportunity to bid a package, so.
No, and I agree, and they reached out to local contractors, especially with the plumbing and HVAC and things like that, so I feel like we kind of went above and beyond and really tried to notify local contractors about this whole project going on, and, luckily, we do have a couple local people on here with Arch Electric and Colston, and, so, yeah, I agree with you. Squire
Good,
Tracy.
I'll put that ordinance together and bring it forward.
Okay, that's fine.
And for clarification, the paving company actually called the other local company, and that was okay.
Yeah.
So.
One basically pulled out, so.
A lot of behind the scenes. I would prefer to have seen all the actual bids, but,
Yeah.
we just get the amounts here to look at it. I really think we need to be able to see all of those nuts and bolts and have that backstory anytime we're
I think that was the only bid package that kind of something where it came down to that, but yes, I understand.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Interior block is painted.
Perfect, thank you.
Judge, can I ask, who sort of was the committee working on choosing finishes and things as well? I mean, carpeting and the road maintenance facility, I'm just wondering where those finishes are, and is it not maybe appropriate to do an epoxy coating on all concrete, and how some of those things came to be developed? Maybe that's part of questions that can be answered with that bid clarification, but.
It's my understanding, and we'll clarify that all of your interior bare concrete in the shop and support areas is supposed to be epoxy coated as part of that alternate, but we'll get that clarified.
Most of the finishes were I think, done by the architect, and,
Okay.
Codell, with their experience as far as what's gonna work the best in a shop maintenance facility. So we kind of let the professionals do a lot of that. Squire Sebastian, did you have your hand up? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, any other questions? This is a big project. This is exciting. This is something that's been going on for years. And I'm appreciative of the court that we are finally to this point to get a new road facility. I think it's exciting. And we appreciate all the work that Jim Codell has done on this project. And what other questions do we have as a court?
Judge, just some discussion, if we can, about this project when it was brought to us to award the steel framing grant. There was discussion about having it constructed before the end of the year, before winter got here. Obviously, that's not happening. I'm a little disappointed we haven't had a conversation as a full body about the development of this facility. I still am of the opinion that it needed to be moved to another site. This site is challenging by our own engineers and our own construction team's comments, and I'm now concerned that we're less than 60 days from the average first frost that we're going to be starting construction on a facility that is going to be in the middle of winter maintenance on our roads, and I'm wondering how that's going to impact the operations. Just if anybody could talk about time frame and how we're going to manage all that.
Perfect. I'll let Squire Tracy speak first.
I was just going to lean on Mr. Hawkinsmith here. I know he's been with us for the majority of it, and I think the salt bin's going to be the first thing that's a go. If you want to touch on that, yeah. Okay.
It's my understanding, working with Wes, who works with Codell Construction, that once hopefully this is approved, then we'll sit down, really look at a timeline. I do know, yes, we are gonna go into winter. We'll have to work out of the old facility to get through this winter, but like Squire Tracy said, I know the salt bin's the first thing to go in. We'll move all that, as far, it's not perfect timing, but it's just unfortunately the way it worked out. Jim, you have anything you want to say about that?
No, we're gonna put together a phasing plan and schedule, coordinate with you all, make sure the disruption's minimal, and part of our job on a daily basis is to minimize the disruptions and make sure the road department can function as they need to be, take care of the taxpayer.
Squire Tracy?
And also, just to follow up, I believe that, and again, Stephen can vouch for this one, I think it's 2 weeks. You all will be mobilized 2 weeks after this is approved, is what we were told?
2 to 3 weeks,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Can you talk about what the complete timeline looks? And I know you can't take weather into consideration, but what is your projected timeline from start to finish on this project?
Well, we had set up
About 2 months?
yeah. I'm gonna say with the phasing, we're looking 8-month neighborhood to start to complete.
And just for clarification too, so the court knows, because we went back and forth on the existing maintenance facility. So in this bid, once the new facility's built, it gets sheeted, new roof and insulation, I believe, panel board.
I believe that to be the case.
I'm almost positive, so
Yeah.
let you all know. I think, other than the admin building, that's the only building not coming down that will be used, however they want to use it for storage or dry area. But in this bid package, because I remember asking on that day, it's in there that building will be reskinned, insulated, and, sheeted. So just let everybody know. Other than that, I think everything else is coming down. Squire Tanner?
I just want a clarification. If we approve all these bids in one motion, are we going to exclude the alternate bids on the floor, on both of them?
No, sir. Well, what I would ask the court to do is approve everything other than the epoxy.
Well, that's the alternate bids. That's what I meant.
All but the one alternate. I asked the court to approve the firearm alternate and not to take any action on the epoxy flooring alternate.
That was my intended question.
Squire, I think we're going to go ahead and read these individually, though. I don't want to do one shebang. Since it's on the agenda as individual items, as much as it pains me, I'll read them all individually, and when we get to that one, we'll say that. Squire Tracy?
One more thing I know that was topic of conversation for several meetings was the overhang in regards to the storage, vehicle storage area. And I also know it's in the minutes as well, nothing less than 3 foot. Can you touch on that?
I'm 99% sure that has been added.
I think after that meeting months ago, before it was ordered, I had a conversation with Mr. Codell to make sure that that was taken care of. Because that was something we talked about in great depths.
The overhang was added on the vehicle storage, correct? Okay, very good. Thank you. Yeah, it's been added.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the court on this great new facility that we'll be building?
Judge, if you'd like, I'll read these because your electric number, when I've got it added here with the firearm number added to that base bid.
All right, well, let's talk about that as a court. Is everybody okay with, we've talked about the epoxy floor, but let's talk about that fire alarm system that is not legally required, but suggested. 'cause
What does that
everyone-
include?
I'm sorry?
What does that include?
It's just a basic fire alarm,
Just an electronic system?
yes, sir.
No fire suppression?
No, sir.
All that?
No, sir.
Did we bid or
Did not bid fire suppression because the code does not require it.
Do we
Code
have
does
an
not
estimation
require
of
your
that
fire
now?
alarm either.
Yeah. Did we explore an estimation of what that would be? I mean, this is a facility that has explosives and gasoline and other things
We did.
in it regularly.
Because
We did not, but we can if that's the court's desire.
I'm wondering if that's, we're under budget. I mean, I'm always at the point of building the best thing we can. If history's any indicator, you know, the last time we built one of these facilities was the mid-1950s. This thing's gonna need to last.
We'll come to the court with a cost. That's gonna involve underground, but we'll get you a cost for that if you'd like.
the other thing that wasn't included in this, because software and everything changes, we talked about doing a camera system. But in Art Electric's bid package, I asked specifically, they're doing all the wiring. That's included in their bid. So all we will have to do is get with a vendor or two and bid that out as far as how many cameras we want, how they're all tied in for security reasons and things like that. So, but I know the wiring part of it is included in this bid. So that was the other big thing that's not in this bid is actual cameras and gate openers and stuff like that. I don't believe the gate opener, I can't remember.
A comment maybe more than anything else, and I may be talking about some things that I don't know that much about, but I know if you do a fire suppression out in a place that has flammable materials in, it takes a huge amount of water instantly. And I don't know whether that water is available out there or not. That's up to the plant board, I guess, to come up with that number. And the insurance company, which I guess is Cutco in our place, they don't require us to do that? I don't know if that's a question, or somebody needs to find out.
Say that again?
Well, our insurance company is Kentucky Association of Counties. Do they not require fire suppression system out there? And where you have
I've
flammable material?
never heard of any insurance policy trumping a building code policy. That's a life safety building code non-requirement. I've never heard of an insurance policy trumping one, but I'm not.
I know that there's been some places built, now it may not be in Kentucky, but anyway, where they didn't have enough water to put them in and they couldn't even build them.
Oh, well, yeah, there was a school set up in Floyd County for 6 months with fire, or for more than that, where they had to sit fire trucks out front because the engineer didn't do their homework and making sure there was good enough flow for the fire.
It takes a lot of water when you got flammable materials. And I'm not sure that, plant board probably has it, and if it's not a requirement, then
yeah, the code,
good.
The code doesn't require it.
I believe it may be like gas stations, that there's some foam options that it may behoove us, since we're under budget, look at that, and maybe we get a better insurance rate in the long run or something, that it sort of pays for itself. I'd just like to explore it since we haven't.
It doesn't hurt, like I said, if Codell doesn't mind to go ahead and pull in a budget number
Yeah, we'll do
together for that.
Be glad to.
But it is a block and steel building, so not a whole lot of interior stuff in it. All right, any other questions?
So we're good with the fire alarm. Everybody, any more questions on that? If you'd like, I'll go through the list. Judge, you want me to do that, or you want to do that?
As far as what?
Do you want to take action on each of the individual packages?
Yeah, well, we're not voting yet, so that'll be in the voting session. But I have on my sheet here, I can read it, so Kim gave me, on the two alternates, I have two different ways to read it. So we'll read the one without the alternate for the epoxy flooring in, and then if it's a will of the court, I'll read the one with the alternate for the fire.
Perfect.
Y'all good with that? And then, so you'll get us a budget number on fire suppression. Is there anything else? I thought there was one other thing you were gonna check with him on.
And I'll get we'll get something straight on the epoxy flooring too.
Okay. All righty. Seeing no other things, we're gonna keep moving. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, so now we're going to talk about the Planning Commission appointment. Anybody have any questions? So, just let everybody know, we searched high and low for people who would like to serve on the Planning Commission. As you can imagine, it was tough to find somebody. Very important part of our county government is that board, which we take very seriously. I believe I've known Todd for a number of years in his family. He actually works, he's a biologist at H&B, I think you all can see. Very level-headed. I think he would do a great job in representing us on the Planning Commission. So, any questions from me on that? Alrighty, seeing none. Do I have a motion, authorization to go into closed session per KRS 61.8101F, discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. We're in closed session. back in open. I'm gonna let our county attorney speak for a minute. We're gonna do something a little different today, but I'm gonna let him explain what we're gonna do.
It's our understanding that there may be some public comments on the next agenda item. If there are public comments, they will be limited to 2 minutes. We've got a stopwatch here, so if you choose to get up and speak, you're more than welcome to do so, but it'll be cut off at a 2-minute limit. If you all want to have a representative speak on your behalf, if it's okay with the court, we'd be willing to let them have a 5-minute limit for that, if you all would rather have just one representative speak. And so that's the ground rules if y'all want to have a public comment on the next agenda item.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm Jason Coates, and I'm a 21-year veteran at the Franklin County Road Department. And I guess we're in a decision here where it's going to be made, and if this decision does go through, it'll stop all movement. Anybody wanting to work toward becoming something down here at the Road Department, everything freezes. We know the county wells better than anybody. The guys that are in front of me as leaders, they're trustworthy, they're dependable. Any one of them could do this job. And I would like for y'all to really think and consider back in-house for the road department, for a hire for a road superintendent. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Anyone else for comments?
Howdy, Court. I'm gonna agree with Jason 100%. I think it needs to be in-house. We stop. There's no more moving. I mean, we don't have a structure as far as we got light, heavy, foreman, assistant, and superintendent. We're at the end until somebody retires or leaves. So that's what I'll say about it.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else? Alrighty, seeing nobody else, we're gonna head to the next agenda item. Is there any conversation to talk about the next agenda item? Sorry. Oh yeah, Squire Tracy.
At any time during the last tenure of the recent.
Oh, turn your mic on, sorry. Squire
At any time during the last tenure of the recently retired county road supervisor, did you all ask or inquire in regards to a recommendation for a replacement when he retired?
I can answer that. Yeah, we asked twice and there was no recommendations put forward, so nobody would be put forward for the position internally. Any other discussion items on the next one, 33? Alrighty, seeing none, we're gonna head into the voting session. Clerk, please call roll.
Squire Sebastian,
Here, I'm sorry.
Squire Blackburn,
Present.
Squire Dykus. Here. Squire Tracy,
Here.
Squire Tanner,
Here.
Squire Wisman,
Present.
Judge Mueller.
Present. Authorization of approval of minutes from public hearing of August 24, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization for approval of minutes from regular meeting of August 24, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive final payment of 2022 excess fees, county clerk.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to purchase a 2024 Toyota Camry through the state master agreement from Frankfort Toyota Sheriff's Department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to surplus the firearms with the jail.
Question. Just to circle back to Squire Wisman, will there be documentation, give them serial numbers and so forth?
Yes.
I have one question about that. Maybe I should have asked it in the work session, and I thought it, but I didn't ask it. According to what the sheriff said, you can buy a new one for $500, and these are $300 for our surplus firearm. I'm not sure that we shouldn't look at buying a new one and not buying these, but that's my opinion. I probably should have expressed it earlier.
Well, I believe these are bought and then give to the person who's retiring.
The county doesn't pay, it's raised through like the
But we would have to
FOP line.
replace them.
Yeah.
It's something that typically has been done, but it's up to the court.
It's okay. I didn't say anything earlier, so.
So moved.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
All right, let's do roll call on this one then. Clerk, please.
Squire Sebastian,
Yes.
Squire Blackburn,
No.
Squire Dykus,
No.
Squire Tracy,
Again, this is something that happens regularly when when law enforcement retires. So, yes.
Squire Tanner,
I'm gonna abstain.
Squire Wisman,
Again, this was an elected position, not a retiring position, so no.
Judge Mueller,
Yes.
that does not pass.
Okay. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the filing of an application to Kentucky Association of Counties Insurance Grant Program for the Franklin County Regional Jail.
So many.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive Peaksville Water District's audit report for years ended December 31, 2022 and 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution approving projects recommended by District 5 maintenance staff of the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for the 2022-2023 Rural Secondary Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. All those opposed say nay. There'll be no vote on this one. This is the first reading of ordinance amending the ordinance number 2-2019, repealing, amending, and readopting a 1983 ordinance pertaining to public health, safety, and welfare, regulating storage, collection, transportation, processing, and disposal of solid waste, and providing for violation of the provisions of this ordinance. Next one, there's no vote. Also, first
Judge,
reading.
That was subject to the change, the
Okay.
amendment
Yep.
of the 10 to 6 inch.
Oh, okay. Clerk, did you get that change?
For the first
Did you
reading.
get that change from a 10-inch in diameter to 6-inch in diameter, please?
Okay. I have a statement. The number agenda item 6, authorization to surplus the firearm jail. It is a tie without the abstain vote,
It fails.
Which means it fails.
so it does fail.
Yep, okay. Alrighty. Next one is first reading of ordinance amending the table of special ordinances, section 1, zoning map changes of the Franklin County Code of Ordinances for a 20.1 acre property identified as PVA map number 049-00-00-012.00, located at 1190 P Ridge Road from Rural Residential District RR to Agriculture District AG. No vote will be taken. It will be on next agenda. Another first reading of amendment number 1 to ordinance number 7-2023 relating to budget for fiscal year 2023 and 2024. This will be on our next agenda. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the filing of an application for Kentucky Fire Commission thermal imaging camera grant for the Franklin County Fire Department.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the filing of an applicant to Kentucky Fire Commission Personal Protective Equipment Grant for the Franklin County Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the filing of an applicant to the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program for the Technology Department.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the county judge executive to execute a memorandum of understanding with the city of Frankfort for use of justice assistant grant funds.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes.
Who second?
I will.
Clerk, you good?
Yes.
Authorization to approve the engagement letter with Charles T. Mitchell for the year ended June 30th, 2023, auditing services.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive treasurer's report.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Payment of claims. Is there a motion to deny any payment of claims?
Yes. During our work session, there was a discussion about an item in the budget for the jail about retirement badges, which we were unclear on.
Okay.
For $290.
So can we just
So we're holding it, I believe, to get more information, to understand the expenditure and the benefit to the county.
Okay. Can I just go ahead with the vote then, knowing that that's out?
Taking that one item for payment.
Okay.
Meeting or however you want.
Next court meeting. All right, so can we have a motion to pay all bills except the one Squire Sebastian just called out? That'll be on our next agenda item.
So moved.
So we're
Paying all but
We
the
don't
ex-
need
We're,
one.
we're voting, we don't need a motion to deny a claim?
Okay.
You just asked for
No.
a motion
Yeah.
though.
Okay. Authorization to award bid to 911 Fleet and Fire Equipment, lowest bidder for Fire Department, SCBA, and associated equipment.
So
So
moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Alrighty, here's the good stuff. Authorization to award bid package number 2 to Rising Sun Development in the amount of $292,000, best bidder for site work related to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid package number 3 to Coastal Paving in the amount of $494,000. Best bidder for asphalt paving related to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid package number 4 to Rising Sun Development in the amount of $1,936,000. Sole bidder for general trades relating to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid package number 5 to Rising Sun Development in the amount of $134,750. Sole bidder for masonry related to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid package number 6 to Bennett's Contracting in the amount of $22,000. Sole bidder for drywall, metal studs, ACT relating to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid package number 7 to Bennett's Contracting in the amount of $15,000. Best bidder for flooring related to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next agenda item, we are going to table and get some clarification from Codell Construction, and that will hopefully be on the next meeting agenda. Next, authorization to award bid package number 9 to Walker Mechanical in the amount of $446,000, sole bidder for plumbing and HVAC relating to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. What did I do there? Okay. Then this one, is that one there. Authorization to award bid package number 10 to AE Electrical Solutions in the amount of $336,965 with alternate number 2 in the amount of $38,375, a total of $375,340, sole bidder for electrical relating to the construction of the new maintenance building at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve board appointments of Matthew Todd McDaniel to Franklin County Planning Commission with a term ending June 30th, 2027.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
You good, clerk?
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to appoint Gene Duke Wilburn as County Road Supervisor for a 4-year term beginning September 18th, 2023.
So moved.
No second?
Second.
All right, we'll do a roll call on this one then.
Squire Sebastian,
I have to abstain on this.
Did she second or you second? Who seconded? She did in the things. I figured the judge would second it.
So can I second it then?
Yes, you can. It's not a vote.
Squire Blackburn,
Yes.
Squire Dykus,
Present.
Squire Tracy,
Considering that there was no recommendation made by the retirement of the last county road supervisor, I vote yes.
Squire Tanner,
I'd like to explain my vote also. I'm going to vote yes for the same reason Scotty did, and I had a conversation with the county judge about 4 or 5 days ago, and told him if something extraordinary didn't come up that I would support it. So I'm voting yes.
Squire Wisman,
This is a nomination or appointment by the county judge, which ultimately is in charge of managing the day-to-day employees. I wish I had had more information to make this decision upon, and I hope in the future we will always have more information, but I'm going to have to trust the judges watching out for the county and go for yes.
Judge Mueller,
I just want to state that this is an order that we had 6 internal interviews that went very well. I was hopeful that I'd be able to pick somebody from there. I had 2 state employees we had conversations with. Both were given to me by the 2 different magistrates that went well. And ultimately, the last person that I'm putting up for this is a small business owner that I think will do a wonderful job for Franklin County. So I am a yes.
motion pass.
Authorization to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We're adjourned. Thank you.